play. Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. When you out there without care, I was out of tune. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul. You think you're in control. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. My heroes had it hard. The lives out on the land. Hello, everybody. A beautiful evening to you guys. Guys, I know it's late, and usually I do not come to you this late at night. Usually I'm at home at this time. But here's the caveat, and I know this is going to sound like an excuse, but it's not. First of all, my wife is out of town for a couple of days. Okay, she's doing a family thing. So, and my kids are all grown. Our children they're big kids. They can take care of themselves. And so when this story rolled around, I figured, you know what? Let me stay back and see if I can rustle this around and see if I can sprinkle some SML dust on it and see what we can come up with. Put the story, these two stories, stick them in the SML TV oven, pull them out, and see what we have. Before I begin, before I proceed, before I go any further, my brothers and sisters, wherever you're watching me from, please tell me in the comments below if this here broadcast is loud and clear. There is nothing, I guarantee you, there is nothing worse in this world than a broadcast that is not clear, that is inaudible, and that is incoherent. So what I need for you to tell me tonight is, Mr. Mwewa, we can hear you loudly and clear. You just proceed, Mwewa. Chifuka mabandos yazasila. I'm always amused when you guys say that to me. I mean, my knee-jerk reaction when you say stuff like that to me is, well, look, you can't afford to be on here. If you can't afford a 15, 20-minute bundle, then something's wrong with your economics. You need to realign. All right. So this is loud and clear. I'm glad. I really am. Thank you. Wherever you are watching me from wherever, thank you for being with me. Guys, let's talk about this. Let's just go ahead and break this down. I'm going to need about 15, well, not even that really, to be honest with you, about 12 minutes because I need to be on the road. Let's first of all talk about Harry Kalaba. Now, as many of you know, Mr. Harry Kalaba is a presidential contender. A few years ago, several years ago, he served under the administration of the NPF. He served as Minister of Foreign Affairs. And what I remember about Harry Kalaba, I remember when Mr. Edgar Lungu was running for president, and there was this big support for Mr. Lungu. And I remember Harry Kalaba meeting all of these PF members and addressing the nation, and Harry Kalaba saying, "The country has spoken." Remember that? That was the first time I had come to the knowledge of who he was. I didn't know who he was. And of course, later on, he became Minister of Foreign Affairs. And almost mid-stride, you know what a stride is? You know, when you're riding a horse, and then the horse starts to accelerate, and it gets to a point where it's constant. Okay, that's called a stride. Almost in mid-stride, we heard that Harry Kalaba announced that he was no longer going to be part of the PF government, because according to him, the corruption was just so much, it was repudiating, it was repugnant, it was anathema for everything. It was anathema to everything he stood for as a Christian man, because we all know that Harry Kalaba is a man of faith, which I must say, I applaud him for that, because, you know, I'm a man of faith. And I love to see presidential candidates that are a product of the faith. But the problem with Harry Kalaba is that he is susceptible. He is porous. He is prone to being manipulated by these so-called papas. Everybody knows that the reason why Harry Kalaba stepped out of the shadow of the NPF, it wasn't because, as he said, and according to him, as he claimed, it had nothing to do with the corruption of the NPF, even though the NPF were corrupt. But the truth is, and everybody knows this is an open secret. I'm not telling you anything that you do not already know. The reason why Harry Kalaba left the NPF was because Bushiri, Shepherd Bushiri, you know, that crook over there from Malawi, you know, that fugitive from Malawi that went to South Africa, got in trouble over there, and then he became a fugitive, left South Africa under the cover of darkness through a clandestine operation. He literally escaped South Africa. He escaped the clutches and the firm grip of South African lawmakers. And he slipped through the cracks, went back to his home country, Malawi, to continue peddling his nonsense, his foolishness, his skullduggery, his underhandedness. He went back to Malawi to continue that nonsense that he does over there. Well, the reason Harry Kalaba left the NPF was because Bushiri told him, "God has spoken to me. I've seen it in the realm of the spirit. God, the Holy Ghost, tells me, and he has whispered in my ear, that you are going to be president of this country." Now, there's nothing wrong with a man of God speaking into your life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a pastor that loves you, a pastor that wants to see you win, a pastor that senses the word of wisdom over your life and speaks over your life. There's nothing wrong with that. But honey, there is everything wrong with crooks like Bushiri who have an ulterior motive when they say to someone like Harry Kalaba, "I've seen it in the realm of the spirit. God, the Holy Ghost, has told me that you will be president of this nation." The ulterior motive is that these papas do these things because they want to penetrate the power structure of a nation. So they select key people that they suspect, or key people that they may have a premonition that, oh, you could tell a president to you. So let me get close to him and then say, God, the Spirit of God has spoken over your life. He's spoken to me about your life. You're going to be president. Do you know what happens to people like that? Imagine for a moment, Bushiri speaks this fake word over Harry Kalaba. Harry Kalaba leaves the conclave. He leaves the pavilion. He leaves the bastion of the NPF purely based on the word that Bushiri speaks over his life. Can you imagine what would happen if indeed, listen to me carefully. Do you know what would happen if Bushiri spoke this word over Kalaba? I can call him Kalaba because he's younger than I am, I think. Isn't he younger than me? I think he is. And then by some fluke, Harry Kalaba becomes the president. Do you have any idea how much power Bushiri would have over Harry Kalaba? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how much influence and how much leverage Bushiri would have over Harry Kalaba after having prophesied, fakely, albeit, and then by some fluke, Kalaba becomes the president? Guess who all of a sudden becomes all-powerful in this nation? It would be Bushiri. And that is the risk that you guys run when you invite these Nigerian false prophets, when you invite these Malawian shysters, when you invite these so-called men of God who are nothing but men of gold and who have nothing on their agenda except to penetrate the power structure of a nation. Hear me. These people are dangerous. They're dangerous. I'm not talking about men of God that love God. I'm not talking about men that have the calling of God. I'm not talking about men that seek the face of God until and their knees are worn out from praying and bombarding the gates of glory. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about heartfelt, Holy Ghost, heaven-sent, devil-chasing, sin-killing, true blue, red-hot men of God that know how to seek the face of God. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about these crooks who come to you under the cover of darkness. These crooks that come to you in sheep's clothing when in reality they are ravenous wolves, ready to seek and devour you and sift you as wheat. That's who I'm talking about. So here it is. Bushiri spoke a word over Harry Kalaba's life, and Harry Kalaba left, purely based on that word. And here it is now. It's come out that there's a Zimbabwean journalist that has uncovered some type of engagement between Harry Kalaba, according to the Zimbabwean journalist, Harry Kalaba and Hubert Angel. Hubert Angel has recently been documented as one of the gold smuggling mafias in Zimbabwe. Everybody knows that Zimbabwe is on the precipice of a new election. Zimbabwe, a country that literally is destroyed, a country that has been annihilated by one Robert Mugabe. Zimbabwe, that used to be the bastion, the breadbasket of Africa, is nothing but a paltry shadow of itself. Zimbabwe. It's now come out that Harry Kalaba has had some type of association with this mafia, fake, false, placid prophet by the name of Hubert Angel, a man who really, truly speaking, belongs in jail. Hubert Angel belongs under the jail. Somebody ought to lock him up and throw away the key. These are the people that Harry Kalaba is associating with. The issue of an iPhone 15 is neither here nor there. The subtext of this story is that iPhone. But the crux of the matter is Harry Kalaba's association with these so-called papas, which brings me to the issue. My brothers and sisters, Zambia, we need campaign finance reform. These people that call themselves presidential candidates, we need to know the source of their income. We need to know the source of their campaigning. We need to know who funds their campaigns, because one day we'll have a president that's a gangster and does nothing but rape and pillage this nation with our eyes wide shut. I'm telling you, lawmakers, for those of you that go in parliament, that stand in parliament, you elected officials, you public servants, you must push for campaign finance reform. We need to be in a position where we know where money comes from, where we know who funds your campaigns. This is the reason Harry Kalaba is in the position that he's in. If we have a presidential candidate, if indeed we have a presidential candidate that is in cahoots, that is in bed, that collaborates, that associates with gold smuggling criminals in an effort to finance his or her campaign, his or her presidential campaign, my brothers and sisters, that is worrisome. It is. I don't know where this trail is going to lead us as far as Harry Kalaba is concerned, but I can tell you now, it's not going to be a good place. And notice the way the Zimbabwean journalist presses Kalaba, because in Zambia, we don't have such journalists who press a candidate. They press you for an answer. I'm a journalist. How are you? How are you feeling? Eh? Do you feel safe? Where are you going? Where are they taking you? Eh? What shoes are those? Where did you buy that suit? I'm a journalist. So when you see a journalist like this Zimbabwean who pushes Kalaba, Kuti, you must answer the question, are you denying? Zambians are not used to that type of journalistic confrontation. And we need to move into that territory. We need to demand more of people that call themselves leaders, not this patty cake, baker man tiptoeing through the tulips. Before you call yourself a presidential candidate, I should know everything that there is to know about you before I vote for you. So kudos to the young Zimbabwean journalist. Zambian journalists should take a leaf from him and learn how to, not to be disrespectful, but to be pressing, because that's the job of a journalist. Get to the crux of the issue. Dig deeper. Get the answers that you need. Not, you feel safe? What brand of cigar do you smoke? Are you coughing? Where are you going? Muno. All right. That's all I'm going to say about Harry Kalaba. Lastly, and let me just point this out. Fred Membe has just been released. And I find it curious that Fred sort of talked about his tribal prowess. You know, he was talking about his Lozi heritage and his Bemba blood, talking about how HH is not going to be able to withstand his Lozi wisdom, a combination of Lozi wisdom and Bemba strength. According to Fred Membe, that's a powder keg. According to Fred Membe, the combination of Lozi and Bemba is equal to an atomic bomb. According to Fred Membe, that amalgamation, that mixture of Lozi and Bemba is lethal. Nonsense. That is unadulterated. undiluted nonsense. Don't put your tribal prowess front and center of your political ambition. Just deliver. Just talk about what you are going to do. Don't start telling us about your Lozi heritage, your Bemba Strait. Who cares about that? I don't care about that. Do you care about that? I couldn't give two bent pens, whether you're Lozi, Bemba, Tonga, whoever the heck you think you are. Your tribal prowess is not going to convince the electorate of anything. What you have to do is get to work. Roll your sleeves up, start preaching your message, attempting to convince the Zambian people that you are a good alternative. But the moment you start talking about my Lozi's wisdom and my Bemba strength, that combination will mess you up. No, it won't. Fred, you done lost your natural mind. Fred, you've lost your cotton-picking, God-given mind. Get to work and stop playing around. Okay. All right. Thought I'd share that with you guys. I got to go. It's late. Thanks for watching. Bye.